You're listening to the How to Talk to Girls podcast, where you'll learn step-by-step how to meet and seduce beautiful women, whether you're looking for one night of fun, a week-long fling, or a long-term relationship. I'm your host, Trip, and the episode starts now. Hello and welcome to the How to Talk to Girls podcast. I'm your host, Trip Kramer from tripadvice.com. Welcome back. Or if you're here for the first time, hello, welcome. Today we're talking about conversation. Makes sense. This podcast is called How to Talk to Girls. And I have now extracted once again, if you've been listening to the past few episodes, you've heard that I've been going into archives, extracting some of the best information from old programs that don't exist anymore, where there's still really good information that's going to help you today. So I've done that today with an old program, and I talk about conversation, specifically the ultimate formula for conversation, as well as the 3 principles for conversation. So I give you some principles, I give you a formula in terms of how to be a good conversationalist naturally. How do you do this naturally? How do you do this in a way that doesn't feel forced, where you're using pickup artist routines or you're having to memorize things? How do you just be a good conversationalist and all, but more specifically with women? How do you do it in a way that's going to attract them, that's going to make them interested in you, that's going to make them say, wow, that was a good conversation. I really felt that. So I'm not going into specifically what to talk about. That's not what this episode is about. It's more about, well, you'll see soon here, but mainly the principles of what conversation means to make it interesting. So a little bit of what to talk about, but also talking about your energy and how you're focused in conversation and how you're putting out the words, your vocal tonality, things like that. So you're going to be learning a lot here today, and I think you're going to like it. So take some notes, because you're going to be able to use this stuff immediately when you go out and when you talk to women, okay? So get ready, take some notes. This is going to be some more practical stuff today, not just theory, but literally telling you exactly what to do. Good techniques. And if you're still having trouble with conversation and you feel that you need more help, you need to be assisted, guided, you feel like you want to be pushed to talk to more women so you can practice conversation, because one of the best ways to get good at conversation is not just by studying, but by implementing, by going out there and talking to women. But if you feel that you're not able to do that as much, you're not able to go out, you have approach anxiety, you feel that you're still not exactly sure how you personally can get women attracted to you through conversation. So if you need that guided help, coaching is available. Go to coachedbytrip.com. The link is in the show notes. Trip is spelled with 2 P's. When you go to coachedbytrip.com, you'll find an application page that you need to fill out in its entirety, and then I will reach out to you. As long as you fill it out and you're honest and you're over 18, that is already a big start for us to start working together. So let me help you. Let me guide you. Let's do this together. I can get you to the point where really this is no longer an issue for you anymore. I've had guys who work with me who bust through approach anxiety, who end up getting to the point where they're meeting beautiful women, they're having an active dating life, and they're doing it all in their hometown. So whether you're 18, whether you're 60 years old, if you're listening to this podcast and you feel like I could help you, well, I know I can help you, but if you feel it, then you're more than halfway there. So apply today, coachedbytrip.com, and let's get going. And now let's get going with this episode, the ultimate formula for conversation. Check it out. So first, why is conversation so important? Well, conversation's everything. Conversation is the essence of the interaction of what's happening when you're with a girl and you're attracting her. Now, I know I said that body language is far more important than conversation, but unfortunately, you can't just go up to a girl and not say a word and expect to attract her and take her home. Just not going to happen. You're going to have to say something, and I want you to say amazing things that are going to make her be attracted to you, want to talk to you more, and just in general, want to be intrigued by you and want to get to know you better, right? So this is not just some fluff, BS kind of stuff. This is real principles of conversation and hardcore tactics that are going to help you still remain, your genuine self and still be you, but taking the best parts of your life and the stories that you have and some other principles I've been going over to create what I call really impactful, memorable conversation. So let's go over my 3 principles of conversation that I've found to be the most helpful in being able to be the world's greatest conversationalist. No, that's not me. That's going to be you. And if you follow these principles, that will be you. So first, what I found in conversation that's helped me and that's helped some of the greatest, just the masters of people who are so good at having conversation, people who I've come across, and just people that I've worked with, I've realized that one of the main principles that they've held is being curious. And it's not something that most people think about to be a good conversationalist. In fact, it's something that I just kind of figured out that's one of the best ways to be able to continue conversation and have interest in conversations. You must be curious, okay? I want you to create a desire to learn, create a desire to want to know more. And this is kind of 2 parts. It's not just creating a desire to learn more in general, but it's about learning about the person, right? So I want you to be curious when talking to the person. I want you to want to get to know them. A lot of guys, they tell me like, oh, I try to talk to girls, but they're just so boring. I just don't care what they have to say. Well, you're not asking the right questions. You're not having conversation on the things that you should be having conversation about. You're not talking about the topics that do interest you. And I'm telling you, it's you who's in control of the conversation. It's you who's taking charge of bringing the conversation to a new level. You can't just wait for other people to have amazing conversation. Most conversations you're going to have in your life are just not going to be interesting. But if you know how to be curious and you have a desire to learn more and to poke at the right things, then you're going to want to have conversation, which is going to naturally give you more energy in conversation and therefore make the conversation more exciting and then memorable to the girl, okay? So engage with her to know more and to understand what she does for a living, what she does for fun, and get the why. Don't just get the facts. Understand why she does what she does. Not only is that going to be more interesting to you, but it's going to be more interesting in general in the conversation. She's going to love being asked those questions. It's going to spark attraction in her when you're wanting to know her more and understand why she loves what she loves. The big thing here is about getting to an emotional level in conversation, which we'll get to in a bit. But right now, most guys are just wanting to know the facts. What do you do? Where are you from? Blah, blah, blah. That stuff is not what's going to create engaging conversation, okay? And of course, it's going to provide you with more to say. So if you're curious and you want to learn more and get to know the person better and be curious about them and their life and be curious about the things that they're talking about, the things that they've done, and you dig deeper, it's going to be so much easier to continue conversation. It's difficult for a lot of guys to continue conversation. It's very difficult for me for a long time. And then once I decided to bring out my curious side of me, I was able to continue conversation no problem because I was the one coming up with interesting questions and getting to know her more and things like that. So being curious is principle number 1, crucial. Principle number 2, 60-40 rule. Okay, what's the 60-40 rule? That means you talk 60% and she talks 40%. It's a good idea that you're talking just a little bit more than she is. That's why it's 60-40. It's not 50-50. You're just talking a little bit more, maybe even 65-35. Okay? I want you to be leading the conversation a little bit more. I want her to hear from you more because the more things you have to say, the more ways she can be attracted to you, depending on what you're talking about. But at the same time, you don't want to overdo it with conversation. If you're talking like 80 to 90% of the time, and she doesn't get a chance to talk, she's going to feel like she didn't have a say in the conversation and therefore is going to feel like she's not important and that you're not attracted to her, which is going to cause her not to be attracted to you. Okay. And then vice versa. If she's talking a lot more than you, if she's talking 80% of the time or 90%, you're talking a little bit. A lot of guys think when they get into conversation with a girl who they first meet, who's talking a lot, they're like, oh, I'll sit back and relax. This girl's talking. This is so easy. And then they find out that when they get their number, that the girl never responds, and they're curious why. She was talking so much. We had a great conversation. It's because she doesn't know you, right? You didn't give her the chance to get to know you. You let her talk the whole time, and you got to step up and get in there. So when you're talking to a girl, the next time you're talking to her, be very conscious of the 60-40 rule. Make sure you're talking just a little bit more than she is, okay? Don't wait to speak. I don't want you to sit there. A lot of guys will be like, well, she's talking forever. I can't. Then interrupt her. Of course, you don't want to interrupt her too much, but if she's been blabbing on for like 10 minutes and it's not like a 10-minute story, you want to get in there. Even if it is a 10-minute story, I'd still interrupt and ask her something about the story. You know, don't interrupt and tell your own story. But an important thing here is don't wait to speak, okay? Get your word out there, right? Get some spoken word out there and make sure that you have some say in the conversation. Principle number 3. Does this sound kind of familiar? What does this remind you of? Does this remind you of the 8th C in the 8 C's of attraction, which is about contrast? And maybe you're watching this and you don't even know what I'm talking about right now because you skipped module 1. Shame on you. Go back to module 1. Come on. All right. You want to talk about what others aren't. You want to make conversation different, because when you can do that, attraction ensues. Okay? Examples include, but not limited to, personal stories, hypothetical situations, random topics, and sexual topics. Okay? So these are just some examples of what you're going to talk about. We'll show you how to do some of this stuff. Okay? Actually, we're going to show you how to do all this stuff. But we're gonna have you talk about these things because this is the stuff that people aren't talking about. Okay? This is mostly stuff that people leave out of conversation, which is why most people have boring conversation. Okay? You want to talk about your personal stories, which will help you create hypothetical fun situations. Okay? Random topics of conversation. When I say random, I don't mean like just a random topic. I mean like a unique topic, like just a totally random topic of conversation that doesn't usually come up. And then sexual topics, which is going to be in the flirting and the sexual desire module. Okay, well, we'll get into how to talk sexual. All right. But all of these different things are going to be really crucial for you to talk about what others aren't talking about, which will make you stand out, become more memorable, get her attracted to you. The ultimate formula for conversation. I'm going to give it to you right now. You may have heard some of these topics before, but let's go into them, and let's go into them more in depth, okay? So the ultimate formula for conversation is energy plus engagement plus emotion, okay? Energy, engagement, emotion equals a well-rounded and intriguing conversation. Now, I also have a 4th E, which is extraction, okay? And we'll go over that in a little bit too. So there's really 4 E's: energy, engagement, emotion, and extraction. Okay, but let's go over these for right now. So that's going to be a well-rounded and intriguing conversation. That's the formula. Energy, engagement, emotion equals that. She's going to want to continue to talk to you when you have energy, engagement, and emotion. She's going to remember you, which is what you want, right? These are all just creating attraction with the kinds of girls that you want to attract, and she'll be attracted to you, okay? So that's the whole idea. Now let's dig deeper. Energy, which is one of the harder areas in terms of conversation that I found to be for many of my students. But hopefully once we go over this, it shouldn't be too hard anymore. So energy. Energy is the way you present yourself. It's body language. It's your attitude. Okay? Sorry about that. It's energy, the way you present yourself with the body language and your attitude. Okay? That's exactly what it is. You're going to come in with high positive energy. That's the attitude part. And also your body language, which we already went over. When you have solid body language and your chest is out just a little bit, but your back is straight and your legs are spread and your hands are to your sides, you're going to create this powerful energy that's coming out of you. And I want you to have that the next time you're talking to a girl. It's so crucial that you have that. Okay? Let's talk about matching energy. When it comes to energy, I want you to come in at a little higher energy than the group. Okay? So right now, this is more geared towards a social approach, but it also relates to any kind of casual approach too. No matter what, you just want to come in with a little bit more energy, okay? Keep the energy high throughout and then bring it down, okay? Energy roller coaster. Okay, so let me talk about these. You come in, deliver your opener. It's going to be excited. You're going to have a big smile on your face when you do the opener. You're going to come in with good body language, good eye contact, looking at everybody. And then you're going to keep the energy high in the beginning of the conversation. And then after that, you're going to start to bring it down to match their energy. Okay? And that's a little bit of a neuro-linguistic programming technique. Always come in with high energy because it's more positive and people are more attracted to that type of high energy. And then depending on where they're at, maybe their energy is low, maybe it's higher. Maybe it's higher than yours. Match the energy. Match it. Okay, get on to their level. And it's eventually an energy roller coaster. You never want to stay on that level the whole time. You kind of want to try to bring the energy up and down and up and down. And the way you're going to do that is through kind of sorting through different topics of conversation while you're talking to a girl, right? That's the energy roller coaster. You're going to kind of bring it to an exciting level where you're talking really fast and excited, but then you're going to kind of slow it down and then kind of talk to her more about maybe deeper topics, right? And we'll talk about the topics in just a sec. But that's what I want you to do. You bring it up and bring it down, bring it up and bring it down. That's going to make her more excited, more attracted. And it's like you're putting on a show. That's exactly what's happening. You're putting on a show. And when I say putting on a show, that's not you're putting on something fake, okay? I don't mean you're putting on a fake show or something that's not you. You're just putting on the you show. That's it. You're putting on the you show. They have to know who you are. We already talked about self-branding. Okay, so we talked about that, and that's what it is. You're going to be talking about you, and you're going to be bringing the fun energy because women are attracted to that. Energy is important because women are attracted to guys who have high positive energy. That's going to make the conversation interesting. An energetic conversation is an interesting conversation. Once you start talking dull and boring and your voice is flat and it's no longer this warm tone of voice, it's more robotic. There's no warmth to it anymore. And you're just talking about, what do you do? What's your job like? Oh, cool. I'm an accountant, blah, blah, blah. That's not the way I want you to present yourself, because if you do it that way, then you're going to be just like everyone else. So think about it like you're putting on a show. Okay, you're going to be acting a little bit. I get a lot of students who tell me, so it's kind of like I'm acting. And I say, yeah, it is. But you're not acting like you're putting on a role of someone else. You're just accentuating the best parts of you and coming in more fun. And a lot of guys tell me, well, I'm just not an energetic person. And that might be you who's listening to this right now. Well, let me tell you something. Okay, maybe you're not an energetic person right now, but you're also not a person who's attracting women right now. So you want to start attracting more women, then you should start being more energetic. It's like me saying to you, okay, if you want to, it's like you wanting to be good at basketball. I'm like, all right, well, we got to get you dribbling, and we got to get you running and doing a lot of running around the court. And you're like, well, I don't really like running. I'm not a big runner.
It's like, okay, well, you don't have to be a big runner, but then you're going to suck at basketball. You're just going to suck because everything in basketball is running up and down the court constantly, and it's part of it, right? That's like the energy behind basketball. Okay, this is the same thing here. If you want to be amazing at picking up girls and attracting your perfect 10, then I'm telling you, you got to put energy behind the conversation. And trust me, I wasn't that guy either. I wasn't. For a long time, I was very nervous to talk to women, and I wasn't able to give them energy. Like I'm talking right now with all this energy and excitement. I wasn't always like that. And then I realized, wow, okay, that's what women are attracted to, that type of energy, right? That exciting energy. And then I ended up finding out that it worked. And I was like, well, I can just keep getting better at this because it works and it's awesome. And eventually it became me. And there was no difference now, between, there is a difference now between me and the old me, and that was only the energy part, but the energy is me now. It's part of me now. It's what defines me. So if we can muster up that energy inside of you, this whole thing of studying and learning how to meet women and attracting women, it's going to be easy for you.